Alright folks, how are we doing? It's Shabash, it's Hero of Aethric, and if you are struggling to find stone to build blacksmith or bestiary for Seeker Mara or for whatever quest you need, this is an early game guide for you. I've got 3 tips on how to find stone early on in Aethric and before we get into higher tiers, because to be honest, there is more stone available in the end game. There's more monsters that drop gear that actually dismantles into stone, but in early game that is not the case. So the number 1 tip we have is clickables. You see here there is a clickable item that is stone. We're going to click on it and we got 10 stone. Now you can kind of farm clickables as you're moving around anyway. I always suggest click on the clickables wherever you are. Basically what happens is when you click on them, it will respawn as another random clickable in that area. So in the early game, I'm kind of farming this zone between Loten and the Great Plains. So if I show you on the map here, this zone starts from these barriers north of Loten Woods, and it ends here across the water from Lythrin Town. So it's a very linear farming spot, and it's open as soon as you start the game. Basically, it's open from tier 1. Level 1 even, not even just tier 1. So it's very easy to collect all the items. Now, obviously, in later areas, there are better zones for sure. There's some zones that can have 2 clickables in them at any one time. This zone at the moment can only have 1. And, there are zones where you probably want to farm specific monsters, which we'll come to in a moment as well, but you can kind of move up and down. Oh, there you go, look. And if you're lucky enough, you'll get shrines as well. The Shrine of Wisdom, Shrine of Luck, that's 51 minutes of double experience. So you can get a farming route, and then, the best way to do it is kill bosses as well while you're going up and down, finding stone. You can find other materials as well, such as wood, and kill quest mobs, that sort of thing. I was hoping if we could get another stone clickable, but the problem is, sometimes the server takes off really slowly, and sometimes it's fast. I don't know if it's my connection, but there's the mimic chest down here. You could also leave the main menu and hit play again to force the items to reset, but the thing is, this is probably better than the next tip we're going to do. We're going to move on to tip number 2, which is farming tier 3 mobs. Well, it doesn't have to be tier 3 mobs actually, but we're going to start in tier 3 because there are sort of 6 mobs which drop stone. There's 3 in tier 2 and there's also 3 in tier 3. Unfortunately, I don't actually see any mobs that drop stone here. So I'm going to reset. Oh no, there's one there. There's an ogre down there. So that actually drops stone. Now, of course, you can farm these monsters that drop stone and also farm clickables at the same time. You see you've got the chest down there. And for the Lythrin zone, I'm not 100% sure if it's 1 item or 2 items. But you could feasibly, walk from one end of Lythrin to the other, also while killing bosses as well. So this is an ogre. This is has the potential to drop stone. The issue with these mobs that drop stone, it's not guaranteed unless you have a little bit of luck. So unless you're using a dowsing rod, for example, but it's actually very hard to get a dowsing rod early again. So we got wood, but we didn't get stone, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and refresh these monsters until we find the golem, which is the other kind of common tier 3 mob which drops stone. Okay, excellent. We've got an ogre and we've got a golem. Both spawned here. So let's hopefully get at least 1 stone from one of these mobs. Tier 3 ogre. No luck. Here's the golem. By the way, if you're a tier 4 looking for a pet, get the gnome. Okay, see the golem didn't drop stone either. That is rather unfortunate. Okay, here's a tier 2 mob. The rubbish has a potential to drop stone. Very easy kill. Not so easy to actually drop the stone. Okay, I've come into the codex on my main character to show you these tier 2 mobs first of all. So first of all, the rubbish, as you can see, it can drop stone. The second mob is the buried, but you can see this is nighttime only. drops stone. When it is nighttime, it is a common mob though. And the third one is Earthworm, which can drop stone at tier 2, but this one has to be raining. It requires rain weather. So in the Great Plains and the outskirts, it does rain from time to time. The other mobs here, they drop different types of stone, by the way, because I am filtering for stone in the codex. Okay, and then at tier 3, we have the Golem, dropping stone, quite an obvious one. Secondly, the Ogre, as we tried to show you just there, unfortunately didn't manage that, does in fact drop stone. Again, if you have increased luck via dowsing rod and other luck items, the stone drop is more guaranteed. And then actually finally, a rare one here, the Great Mimic, can drop stone as well. The third and final tip is by shopping. You can check general stores around the towns, but also building your own shops. Remember, your first shop is free, and there is a decent chance for stone to appear. It is a random tier 1 material. And the good thing about finding stone in shops is that you can, it's very often multiple. So again, like the clickable items, I think in shops, you can be anywhere from 1 to 20 when you buy materials. So I guess on average, you're getting 10 stone. And remember, when you have your shops, you can upgrade them for gold here. And that increases the amount of slots of items that are getting sold. But make sure that you check the stock every time you upgrade a level, because it does refresh the stock. So you kind of get 10 extra stock refreshes. Also, you might pick up very other useful items like whetstones, and you can hold to restock as well. The price will go up, and that will give an immediate refresh to the stock of the shop. And I don't really recommend doing that until later on in the game. You know, for the early game, you might be able to build 1 or 2 or 3 shops, you know, level them to maybe 3 or 4. A good way to get gold in the early game, is to visit the arena. And of course, the first arena, if you're not aware, is the Fallen Champions clearing here in the Fen Lagoon. Actually, the amount of gold you get for killing other people in the arena is super high relative to even killing bosses in the early tiers. So that is a really good way to get gold and potentially level up a couple of shops. Otherwise, check the towns, check the Loton, Svarga, Vinland, and Lithrin. And then if you're, higher tiers, obviously check Athantia, Avalon, Sudun. Check all the shops in all of those towns for a higher chance to get stone. And a giant thanks to my Patreon and Twitch supporters. You Arisen, Orna Legends, keep me going. And also thank you for watching this video. Any questions or thoughts, please drop a comment below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Please like and subscribe for more ways to get stone in the future in Hero of Aethric. I'm Shabash. More content coming soon. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao.